This man is dead.
Oh dear. Can't really say there is a pity mind, considering his attitude about those children being killed. Even if it was just an accident. Let's go and have a look. Can I actually have a look? No, you can't actually get near
I
him.
shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me.
This should be... oh, there we go. It's Marston's drink glass. There's some way in here I can make a fingerprint testing kit. Can't remember what I need altogether. This, maybe this, ink pad.
Those don't work together.
For the stamp.
They don't get along. Those don't work together.
I can't remember how to do it now.
The flower stuck to bits of it.
Ah, there we go. I think we have to do it one step at a time.
Aha! A fingerprint.
I think that's it. I don't think we need... maybe we don't need the ink pad. So here we go. We'll put this here. That's the print that was found on Marston's glass. So we can see if anybody tampered with his glass before he drank it. Now we just have to find where we get prints for everybody else. Before I leave, I may as well talk to people first.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
He didn't seem particularly remorseful. Of course, the record might have set him off somehow. A new incident long after the fact may create a strong feeling of guilt or fear. Wouldn't you say, Doctor?
Possible. Quite possible.
I think it highly unlikely he committed suicide, considering he said it wasn't his fault.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Heard of him, but we'd never crossed paths or swords.
What do you think that record means?
There is something wrong with this entire weekend, and especially with our host, Mr. Owen.
I believe we're all coming around to that conclusion.
Yes, but I know something you don't, Judge.
What is that?
I recognized the voice on that recording, and it was definitely not Mr. Owen.
Who was it?
Not so fast, Narracott. Not until I think things through a bit more.
That'll be all, Mr. Lombard.
No, I'm not telling you. I wonder why he won't tell us. Maybe we'll find out later on.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
You'd never think he would kill himself. He was so alive. When he came down that hill in his car, he looked... Oh, I can't explain.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No. I'm sure I would have remembered.
Steady, Miss Claythorne. The lad had his faults, you know.
Yeah, not quite sure how you can be so taken by a man who didn't seem to care that he'd run over 2 kids. But then again, you know, she might have caused the death of that boy, so be a match made in heaven.
What do you think that record means?
It was unfair, what it said. Very unfair.
You seem to be a remarkably perceptive girl, Miss Claythorne.
Why, thank you, Mr. Narracott.
Is there anything you can tell me about our fellow castaways?
Castaways? You make it sound so...
Romantic?
I was going to say dramatic. Let me see. No one has confided any secrets to me, I'm afraid. Oh, except one.
That is...
I really don't know you well enough to answer you.
A pleasure as always, Miss Claythorne.
Oh, why is everybody so mistrusting? Considering all their backgrounds, this guy is like the least of their worries.
Did Marston choke to death?
You can call it choking if you like. He died of asphyxiation right enough.
Was Marston poisoned?
Can't say exactly. Everything points to one of the cyanides. No distinctive smell of prussic acid. Probably potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes, without a doubt.
Do you think it was suicide?
Seems like it.
Could he have been murdered?
Not my line of country. I'm a doctor, not a detective.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Not I. Personally or professionally.
What do you think that record means?
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke, I suppose.
Good evening, Doctor.
Oh, I don't know. Now that there's a guy lying dead on the floor, I think it's gone beyond a practical joke, perhaps.
Do you think it was suicide?
You conduct yourself well, Mr. Narracott, if you don't mind my saying so. Mr. Blore has told us that you are not what you appear, yet you told him you were not a detective.
No, sir. But I've read many detective novels. I even had one of those junior detective kits when I was a boy. Magnifying glass, fingerprint powder.
Junior detective kit? Wonderful. Ah, an amateur sleuth, then. You appear to have something of a gift for it.
About the suicide, Judge.
I'm not yet prepared to offer an opinion.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
I knew his father, the Duke, and his elder brother. Like so many younger sons of his class, Anthony Marsden was a bit of a wastrel, as you will have gathered. There were other rumors of late, of his dabbling in politics, but this is not the proper forum for that discussion.
Oh, it's okay. I already know about his Nazi dealings.
What do you think that record means?
May I answer that in a moment after asking a question of my own?
Of course.
Does anyone know Mr. Owen's full name?
My letter was signed only U.N. Owen.
Yes, U.N. Owen. Or, by a slight stretch of fancy, unknown. I'll now answer your question, Mr. Narracott. The name, the recording, the circumstances under which all but you were lured to this island. I have no doubt in my mind that we have been invited here by a madman, very possibly a dangerous, homicidal lunatic.
Oh, goody.
Why did you retire, Judge?
I know there was talk about my competence, even my ego running wild, but the truth of it is very simple. My health. A lifetime sentencing my fellow man, and now a higher power has passed judgment on me.
Good evening, Judge.
Might actually be able to look at this guy. No, go back. It was... You can get a view of the fireplace. Ah, you still can't see him, regardless. Just checking if there's any more I need to pick up here.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
We can read it anyway. We'll just read... You get to hear them all anyway, as the chapters go by. There we go. This is the first one where one choked his little self, and then there were 9. That's obviously Anthony Marsden. He's the one who chokes. See, every time I always forget. You have to click here to talk to the people on this side.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
I shouldn't have said Mr. Marston was a suicidal type of gentleman at all.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Never clapped eyes on him. And who gave you the authority to question us?
You're under no obligation to answer me. What do you think that record means?
I don't like it. Not one bit. Very queer, the whole situation.
That'll do, Mr. Blore. Do you think Marston committed suicide?
Yes. In my experience, certain types of individuals, when faced with their sin, will then commit the greater one.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No.
What do you think that record means?
There is something very peculiar about it.
That is all, Miss Brent.
Can't think how you'd think he committed suicide. It's like, for one, he didn't regret really what had happened, but he didn't really feel it was his fault. And two, who the the doctor said it was cyanide. Who the hell goes around carrying a cyanide capsule with them? Although he was a Nazi spy, so...
Do you think it was suicide?
How dare you! My wife died of natural causes, sir. A long illness, nothing more.
I meant Marston.
Marston? No honor in him that I could see.
Oh, well, that was a bit revealing.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No, I don't think so. Not a military man, I'd wager. Lombard now. He reminds me of someone from my command. But the name wasn't Lombard.
Oh. Who was it then?
What do you think that record means?
Ugly. After 30 years. Ugly thing to say.
Thank you, General. Stay well.
Where have you been, Rogers?
I went to check on my wife, sir. She is resting comfortably. But I'm afraid I have some distressing news.
Oh?
One of the china figures of a sailor boy has been broken off.
Chapter 2. 9 little sailor boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
Filthy night. I tried to go out to get some more wood for the fire, but the wind drove me back.
A storm like that will keep us all indoors.
My apologies for the accommodations, Mr. Narracott. But all the beds are taken.
Makes one wonder where the Owens were planning to sleep. Isn't it?
A good servant follows instructions. He does not question his employer, unless you'd like to share the deceased's room with the corpse.
This will do fine. Thank you, Rogers.
I'll wish you a good night then, sir.
Everyone should be sound asleep by now. Good time for a little stealth work.
Yeah, sorry about the strange stuttering problem that keeps happening on the cutscenes. I can't really figure out what's doing it. The first cutscene in the game with the train was fine, but all the others I've been having the same problem with.